So I had a really good thought last time we recorded that I wanted to talk to you about, and
Okay.
it's like not the funnest thing in the world to talk about, but it's an interesting statistic. So I want to ask you a question first off. Do you know how many serial killers there are or ever have been in the world?
Hmm. No, never thought of it.
Right. Well, I mean, not a lot of people probably sit around and think about something as messed up as that.
Right.
But anyway, the top three. Can you guess what the number one is, or any of the top three in the world countries?
Um, I want to say Brazil.
So, no, it's not in. I think it is in the top 10, but not in the top three. So,
Really?
yeah. Now I was thinking like maybe India, somewhere with like a really high population,
I was about to say India too.
right? But no. So I'll go. I'll tell you the number three. So the number three highest is South Africa. Now that's like
South
of all
Africa.
time, and that's
Okay.
117 serial killers of all time. And then second is England with 166.
Okay.
Can you guess what number one is?
Philippines.
No, it would have been interesting if it was, being
Oh,
that you're
okay.
from the
Okay. No,
Philippines.
I was gonna say. I thought it was gonna be Philippines because
But it's
I don't
interesting
know.
that it never crossed your mind. Like everyone I've asked before this, they automatically say U.S. But it
Oh,
never
really?
even, yeah. But you never even thought that, which is interesting. I mean, maybe because you're not originally from here, maybe that's why it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is the U.S. But keeping that in mind, that I said there's 117 in number three, right, for South Africa, and
Hmm.
166 in number two. Can you guess how many serial killers there have been in the United States of all time?
This has to be a huge number. I'm gonna
Well,
say. I'm gonna say about double, like
so
around 300.
it's around 300. Well, I tell you what, it is 3,204.
What the f?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
United States.
yeah.
Yeah, you motherfuckers are crazy, man. I'm telling you.
You're not wrong though, but why is that? Well, that's insane. You know what?
Yeah.
That is okay. So the United States makes up 4% of the world's population. 4%. That's it. That means that 68% of the world's total serial killers have been in the United States.
You know, I only realized that something's wrong with white people when I came here in PA. I'm not
Specifically,
gonna lie.
no, but specifically Americans, definitely. I mean,
Right,
I
yeah.
don't know if it's. I
That's the
don't.
thing. I thought when I came here in PA, I thought it's only gonna be Pennsylvanian who have these crazy people, stupid people, and I'm sorry, dude.
No,
I'm sorry to talk shit about Pennsylvanian people, but
it is what it is. But you're right though. That's all you've ever been exposed to, really. Well, okay,
yeah. And
California
then
as well, but
eventually, I'm seeing all of these news and crazy happening in America, and I thought to myself, yeah, like maybe there's just something wrong with American people in general.
yeah, no, I don't disagree. That's the point. I mean, I think what does that say about, what do you think the reasons behind that are? Like when you really think about it, what what might cause more Americans to be doing these horrible things? I mean, I'm sure if we looked at the statistics, it's not just serial killers. A lot of the horrible things that,
Yeah,
evil
yeah,
people in the world, I'm sure are the majority from the United States. And you think in America we have a lot of freedoms. Is that it, or is it, because you'd think in other countries like we mentioned India, there's a lot of
right,
poverty and stuff, and a lot of like, you would think they'd be more apt to do these crazy things just out of, you know, yeah, not
right.
having all the resources and all that we have. But it's not. I don't know. I just think that's really interesting.
Maybe Americans just have this like dominance or control issues to where they think that they could just do whatever.
Right.
You know how they're like joining other people war or other countries war,
No, that's a good point. You're right. It could
and
be.
now the mindset of people are now changed to where, you know what, they can just do whatever.
I think you're not far off, honestly, because one of the things that I thought is probably due to like the desense of like when you see something so much, it's like how people always use the argument video games can cause violence because
Right.
you become desensitized to it. You see it all the time. Well, maybe that's what it is in America. It's just like we're so desensitized to everything because we can because of all of our freedoms and what we can do that puts it makes people more likely to just do these crazy things because they want to feel something. They want something to be,
Right.
break the rules to be. Yeah, I don't know. It's a theory.
So speaking of video games, though, I mean, this is out of our topic, but it's something I just want to ask you now
Yeah, no, go for
because
it.
I'm gonna forget. So, do you think movies and video games have a huge impact to kids? You know how a lot of people, especially here in America, they don't want to show horror movies or like killing movies, action movies to children
Yeah,
because it might impact them, or video games like shooting games.
I
Do you
think
think that has to do with the killings and all that stuff here?
I don't know. Not necessarily. I don't think that it's a straight one to one. Like you do these things as a kid, or you experience these types of games and movies, then you do those things. But I think it can contribute in other ways. Like if that's the only guidance you have in your life, if you're the kind of kid who doesn't have any kind of, parents or role models that show you how to be or teach you right from wrong, and that's the only thing you have, then it certainly, I'm sure it can, Um,
Right.
and also, if it becomes like your whole life, like it does for some kids, because they don't have that, so they just become consumed by it, then yeah, it probably normalizes a lot of it. But that's where I've always been on the side of I don't think that it's necessarily the video game's fault for that, or the fact that even that they're. I think it's the parents that need to regulate that and be aware of that, and also it I think depends on the individual. So if you feel like your kid's easily susceptible to those things, or that it's pushing them in a certain direction, then you need to be the parent and step up and make sure that they're not being affected by
Right.
that. Yeah. But
No, I agree.
but
I
yeah, I
agree,
think it definitely
100%.
can. Sure.
But I feel because I was a stupid kid, man. Like my grades were
Wait,
shit.
wait, wait.
I'm not
You
gonna
you
lie.
stopped being stupid? When did that happen?
I mean, so stupid. But I think that video games and being addicted to computer actually made me way smarter.
You're right. No, I that too. That's a good point. I think it can do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it does have impact.
That
Anyhow, to my topic,
okay, let's go.
um, when you were a kid, say you were in the car, you were driving somewhere, right? Or your parents were driving somewhere, and you were in the back seat. Do you ever look at the window and just make your fingers like human and run on the rail? Yeah, you ever did that?
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. Like pretending like it's outside of the vehicle, like you're running along the
Right,
yeah,
right.
whatever.
Following the rails
Yeah.
and the road and stuff, and
No,
then you even like jump and stuff.
I definitely did.
You did that, right?
Or if I didn't do it physically like that, I would be maybe imagining it like that, or like you're
Right.
running really fast along the. Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay, now here's my question. Why is it that people from, say, Philippines, which is like um,
I think I already
thousands
know
of
what you're
miles
gonna say.
away,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, why do we do it in the Philippines, and why do people in America do the same thing?
Right,
Why do they have the same trait?
right. Why does it seem like you learn about these things that you maybe as a kid or at any point in your life you're like, this is probably weird. I'm probably the only one that does this, or maybe me and my friends are the only ones. But then you find out like, no, this is pretty normal, and like a lot of people did it or do it,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Which
it can be genetics, right?
it's I don't
It's like,
know, but it's funny. It's like, is it maybe because we all really are living in a simulation and we're all like
Dude, that's exactly what Sequoia said, though. Yeah, yeah. She said maybe we're living in a simulation.
it
Maybe
could
it's like
be.
our starting point, you know?
I definitely think that there's some, I don't know, there's some psychology behind that I don't quite understand, but yeah, I mean another thing
Because
too, have you heard of the egg theory?
egg theory, no.
I think that's what it's called, the egg theory or the cracked egg, or I don't know. I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's basically the idea that we are all the same person. I
Wait,
know
hold
that
on,
sounds
what?
insane, right? So I know it sounds insane, and I'm not saying it's that I believe it or by no means. I'm just saying it's a theory. So I'm not going to get too into it because I don't have the facts right here in front of me. But basically, the idea is that we're all the same person. That kind of like reincarnation. So, like I've heard a story where the guy dies and he goes to heaven, and he says he's going to be reincarnated as this other person, and he's like, I'm sad. I don't want to be like, I don't want to leave behind this other life that I know. And he's like, oh, you won't remember that other life. Like, this new life is going to be your life. And
Hmm.
it's the idea that everybody in time, even the horrible people of the world, Hitler, whoever, like Jeffrey Dahmer, you have been all those people at one point in time. Your whole existence, the whole existence that you know, is everyone. You are everyone. Like, it's like your universe is just you and all your different existences.
So okay, if that's the case, then that means that we've experienced the running on the rail way back then. We died, we reincarnated, and so we still have the same trait.
Right. It could be that you
And
still. That's why you look at other people and other cultures and other whatever it may be and think, "Oh, I did that as a kid," or "Oh, that
yeah,
seems familiar to me," or it's a theory. And again, I don't have all the details, so that was a rough
right.
explanation, but
That's interesting.
it is interesting
Now,
to look into.
one more thing is, it's kind of like the same thing, but my nephew, he's in California. My sister's son.
Right.
So when he was, let me see, about 2 years old, maybe, this little kid hasn't been exposed in like horror movies, ghosts, whatsoever. Now, my family decided to go to dinner outside, and obviously it was around Halloween, so they decorated their place. My brother placed a some sort of silhouette of a guy with a knife on his window. So from the outside, it looks like there's a guy holding a knife
Right.
on the window. And then what's funny is my nephew, as soon as he saw that poster, the silhouette, he started crying and he was scared as shit.
I mean,
But
yeah.
yeah, but like he was never exposed to, like I said, he's never seen ghosts.
Right.
He's never watched horror movies before because he's just 2 years old. He didn't even know anything yet.
All right. So we're talking about like how does he have that basic whatever fear of being afraid
Um,
of something like that without
yeah,
ever having an exposure to that.
right.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's an interesting thing. Like, you got to wonder where does that come from? What instills that in you in the first place? Which kind of like leads into something um, that I was thinking about in kind of in relation to that. So I've heard people say things like, especially a lot of people that are really religious, without God in knowing, okay, I need to do good things to go to heaven, that whole concept. Why would I
Right.
be good? How would I know what's morally correct or morally wrong without that driving me? But I'm like, that's insane to me. I think that everybody should, and I feel like I have the moral compass to know what's good and bad without that factor, without being like, well, I need to do good to go to heaven. So what gives us that? What instills us with that basic human morals like that? But just like you said, like fear, if you've never been exposed to things like that, how did he know to be afraid of something like that? Why
Right.
wasn't he just like, cuz I've seen things where kids at a very young age witness things that, whether it's real or not, that's open to, theories, but where they think they seen, or their parents think they saw something like a ghost or something, and they'll point at it and be like, oh hi, or or they're like reacting to it, and of course the parents scared, they're like, what are you seeing, what are you talking to,
Right.
but they don't know to be afraid of it, whether they should or shouldn't, whether it's a friendly ghost or not, but they don't know to be afraid of it because they've never experienced anything like that. So yeah, I get your point, like
Yeah.
why is he afraid of that if he's never, yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy. I mean, it makes me think sometimes all of this theory that people have. Maybe one of them is true.
Yeah,
That's still crazy.
maybe parts of it are true, maybe,
Right.
and maybe that's the whole point, though. You ever think of that? Like, if, like, for instance, the egg theory or whatever it's called, we make our reality. Then, in that sense, we're sculpting it. So, like, yeah, I don't know. It's all so twisted. I think it's beyond our ability to,
Comprehension.
yeah, ability to comprehend. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. That was the topic I had for you today. That one's been like on my mind. I've been, thinking about
Now
how
Americans are
insane that
just
is.
they're different breeds, man.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. But yeah, those were some fun topics. That's the idea. That's what me and Mac are going to be doing here, and we're going to come to the table every so often with each of us with a theory, with a thought, something we want to talk about. And if anybody is watching this and wants to engage in the comments, give us other ideas, things to talk about, things that you want to hear about. Yeah, let us
I'm
know.
also interested in what people think about what we just talked about.
Right. No,
If
absolutely.
you guys have answers to our questions, please let us know.
Especially if you have answers, because I don't have any
Yeah.
answers. I'm just throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. But yeah, no, absolutely. That's part of the whole point here, is to get engagement, get people talking about these things. That's what makes it fun. So, all right, well, we'll end it here then. And until next time, when we talk about some more weird stuff, yeah, that's it.
All right. Peace. I'm a lava duck.
A lava.
Yeah. Wait, I'm actually steaming.